Now that we've finished the first major unit of English 109, I hope that you're starting to see that there's a kind of pattern or routine that we get into. At the beginning of each unit, you're introduced to what the assignment's going to be by reading your assignment prompt, reading the relevant chapter of the text, and even watching these videos where I introduce what the assignment is. Then you move on to smaller activities that are designed to get you thinking and help you develop your ideas towards that much larger essay. You get the opportunity to draft that essay and then share it with your peers and or your teacher, and also read the drafts that your peers have created. Give them feedback. Then the really big part of the process is revision. And in this class, hopefully you get the opportunity to revise and then maybe even revise again before you polish your essay and submit it at the end of the unit. In the first unit, you wrote a narrative essay. You got to tell a story about an important moment from your past, reflect on why that was important, and hopefully show your reader the importance of that personal moment from your personal history. In this unit, we're making a fairly big shift. Instead of writing about ourselves in the first person, you're going to be writing about a cultural text, an advertisement, and you're going to be shifting to a more academic voice. What that means is that instead of reflecting on your own personal history, you're looking closely at a text, making observations about that text, and putting those observations together in a way that helps you to make a persuasive reading or an argument about that text. That text in this unit is an advertisement. So importantly, any kind of analysis essay asks you to have an opinion. In this unit, you're going to closely observe how an advertisement works so that you can make a persuasive argument about how that advertisement influences its audience. The first step in this unit is to choose a really good text to analyze. The advertisement that you choose to analyze could be a print ad from a billboard or a magazine, or it could be a TV commercial. The readings that you do in the class textbook, as well as the discussion that you have about these readings on the class message boards, should give you an opportunity to see how an advertisement analysis is written, but also to see the kinds of advertisements that are good ones to analyze. You shouldn't choose an ad that's too simple. You should choose an ad that perhaps makes you mad or curious or confused, and maybe an ad that different people might have different reactions to. You'll get the opportunity to discuss the advertisement that you want to analyze with your teacher really early on in this unit. So you'll get help to make sure that you choose the right kind of advertisement. The truth is, for a really good advertisement analysis essay, if you've chosen the right kind of ad that you have lots to say about, the essay almost writes itself. But on the other hand, if you don't choose a really good or complex ad, this essay can be really, really difficult to write. One of the key skills that you'll be learning in this unit is citation. That means you're going to have to take really, really close notes about your observations about your advertisement. This also means that you actually have to have it. If it's a print ad, you need to cut it out and keep it and spend time looking at it closely. If it's a television ad, then you should be able to access it through YouTube or in another form online, or you should have DVR'd it on your television because you need to be able to watch that ad over and over again and take detailed notes about what's going on. As you spend time with your ad and take detailed notes on it, you want to pay attention to specific things. For instance, what are the key words in your ad? What are the key images for this print ad or television commercial? You want to organize your notes, and then you want to look back at them and think, what are the observations that I've made here that I actually would like to use to make an inference or an argument? So for instance, if I'm looking at a television commercial about a young men's cologne, what are the key words that are used in the ad? What are the key images? What's the soundtrack to the ad? I want to take detailed notes about all of these things because I'm later going to need to use these observations to support the arguments I make about the significance of this ad. With any good television advertisement, it's possible that different people will have different opinions about it. The key is that you have an opinion and that you're also able to support that opinion with evidence based on the observations that you've made. So let me try and be more specific using this example that I brought up about a young men's cologne. I'm thinking of a brand like Axe. And if I'm going to analyze this particular brand, I'm going to choose one commercial. I'm going to sit with it for a while, watch it several different times. And I might pay really close attention to, let's say, 3 things. One, the text that's used in the ad, and that could be dialogue, but also the kind of keywords that show up on the screen. The other thing would be the images that are used. And the third thing might be the soundtrack to the ad. So let's say, for instance, that with this particular advertisement, my thesis is that those 3 elements work together to make the reader associate the brand with sex. And in particular, that it's a kind of sexuality that objectifies women, that some women may find offensive. But that the ad is actually intentionally creating this kind of offensive effect to make the brand memorable. That it doesn't mind offending some people if it makes other people remember the brand. So that's an essay that I can write in 4 or 5 pages, and an essay that would be based on observing, making key concrete observations about those 3 different elements: text, image, and music. I might organize an essay like that in a really conventional way. Have a kind of introduction that lays out what my thesis is. Tell my reader that I'm going to be looking closely at these 3 elements, and then use a paragraph to develop and build in my observations to make inferences about the ways that those 3 different elements work. Then if I have a conclusion, I have a pretty standard 5-paragraph essay. So I'm not saying you should do your essay that way. I'm just saying that that's one way that you could approach this assignment. Remember again that for this assignment, you're not going to be graded until you've had the opportunity to get feedback from your peers and/or from your teacher and revise the essay, maybe even to revise it several times. As with the other essays in this class, you may also choose to revise this essay again after it's been graded for your final portfolio. Remember, as always, to keep all of your rough work, because these are the rough drafts that you have, even the early writing activities that you do, these are things that you could put in your final portfolio at the end of the semester to show the different ways that you've learned from the class. I think a unit like this is really, really interesting in that you're given an opportunity to have an opinion about the kinds of cultural texts, advertisements that we're surrounded with in our everyday life. It's also really fun to get to read other people's advertisement analyses and see what kinds of opinions that they have. So I hope you get really good feedback from your peers, and I hope you enjoy reading your peers' work and giving them good feedback too.